American tanks for Ukraine are absolutely on the table. There is already speculation about the possibility of US-made M1 Abrams tanks heading to Ukraine, but there are other potential options. A senior US defense official said today that there is a definite possibility that the US government could transfer unspecified tanks to the Ukrainian armed forces in the future. The remarks from the senior US defense official about tanks for Ukraine were included in a routine Pentagon press briefing about the state of Russia's war on that country earlier today. Ukrainian forces continue to push ahead with a major counteroffensive that began some 4 weeks ago and has already led to the liberation of a substantial amount of previously occupied territory. Foreign military aid packages full of weapons, ammunition, and other material, especially US-supplied high-mobility artillery rocket systems, HIMARS firing 227mm guided multiple-launch rocket system and air-launched M88 high-speed anti-radiation missiles have been key to these successes, and continued deliveries are likely to be essential for keeping up the momentum. The requirement that Ukrainian forces first prove themselves capable of keeping a fleet of Western tanks going seems unlikely to be a major deal-breaker. US officials said similar things in the past ahead of the initial deliveries of HIMARS. Ukraine's military has shown itself very capable of getting contingents rapidly trained to maintain and employ HIMARS and other more complex Western weapon systems, such as the aforementioned M88s and ground-launched Harpoon anti-ship missiles. Regardless, it's unclear what tanks the US government might be prepared to transfer. The senior defense official's comments have already prompted speculation about the potential of US-made M1 Abrams tanks hitting the battlefield in Ukraine. There are certainly a number of M1 configurations that are readily exportable, but that would still provide Ukrainian forces with newer and significantly more capable tanks than most, if not all, of the Soviet-era designs and derivatives that they currently operate. It is possible that older Abrams in US military inventory could be sufficiently downgraded, with any sensitive fire control, communications, and other systems removed to allow them to be drawdown and more quickly sent to Ukraine. Transferring wheeled 8x8 M1128 Striker mobile gun system, which is armed with 105mm guns, but is not tanks, could be another potential option for the US military to help bolster Ukraine's armored vehicle fleets. The US Army announced its plans to divest all of its M1128s last year, meaning that they'd be readily available to send to the Ukrainian armed forces. The possibility of Germany sending older Leopard 1 tanks to Ukraine, or approving the delivery of Leopard 1s from third parties, has been a topic of discussion for months now, as well. For now, however, German authorities continue to block any transfers of Leopard 1s, among other German-made armored vehicles, to Ukraine. The Prime Minister of Ukraine, Denis Shmyhal, said before his visit to Germany that he hopes the West will start supplying modern Western tanks, which Ukraine now desperately needs to fight against the Russian Federation. We expect the United States to supply us with its Abrams tanks, and from Germany, we expect Leopard 2. These are modern tanks that Ukraine needs on the battlefield, Denis Shmyhal said in an interview, Deutsche Welle reports. At the same time, the problems with the German Leopard 2 tanks may, first of all, manifest in the situation when Germany cannot restore the tanks in its storage at an adequate pace. We can find evidence of this in the thwarted delivery of Leopard 2 to Poland, despite promises made, as well as in the extremely low pace of delivery of these tanks to the Czech Republic, and efforts to replace tanks with BMPs, when it comes to fulfillment of other ring exchange obligations before multiple countries. Moreover, Ukraine has already seen some advances in Berlin in regard to the provision of the Leopard 2, but the process has stalled, once again, because of the delivery deadlines. In particular, there was information that some 20 tanks were ready to go to Ukraine, but in 2023 only, at the rate of 2 to 3 vehicles per month.